Oh, I'm streaming. I am streaming. Well, here we are, folks. It is... What is today? Today's Monday. And... Meh. I've done a fair amount of streaming the last couple days. And today I've hit an interesting bit of work. I've talked about in the last couple days the fact that the most of the stuff that you can see here is old-ish, if you consider maybe 2 or 3 months to be old. So I'm going back to these earlier shots of this anime project, doing the editing in Blender, and just reviewing some of these older shots to figure out what needs to be fixed, tweaked, improved, yada yada yada. Okay. So today I'm up to this shot. So the ninjas sneak into Kari's room. One thing I just did a little bit ago was go ahead and put this ninja guy in shadow. I added a shadow layer to him because it's just like he was lit the same as the guy that's flailing, and so frankly commanding attention. You know, he was making you want to watch both of them. And that's an interesting point about the shot I'm working on now. So he's flailing around and then he sort of struggles to get in. I sort of retimed it a little bit, so there's a bit of a pause right there, and then he kind of lurches and then he hits the vase. And this is the shot that I'm working on now. So that's really what I'm focused on tonight. I don't think it's the greatest job I've ever done as far as animation goes, but it's not bad. I mean, yesterday I redid the background image, and I'm going to keep this video because it could be that if I revise this, I may wind up going back and going, you know what, my original concept was actually better. I don't know. But for the moment, I'm going to kind of see this through, which is to say that I decided that up to the point where he catches the vase, I was pretty happy with. So, and I turned off the background. Actually, that's the wrong background. It's this one. I turned off the background layer just so that I could see any new pencils that I did, because I realized I wanted to reanimate it and retime parts of it. Okay, so there's a lot you could say about this, because it's a little more animation than you normally would put in an anime, I think. I'll show you what I mean. So this is fine. This guy, you know, there's a few keyframes and he goes over and he grabs this. Okay, but now there's a lot that needs to be conveyed in a short space. Plus you've got two characters that are vying for attention on the screen. So I frankly have not yet decided if I like what I did here. So I thought, hey, I'll just work on it some more and just live stream, see where it goes. Okay, so what I wanted to do was I wanted to convey this, a sense of relief. And then what was suggested to me was he actually would lift the vase and go to put it, to set it down more carefully, you might say. Okay, so looks at the vase, and then I created these keyframes where he kind of gets it from here to here, like he's going to set it down. Now, if you actually analyze the ergonomics of the room that they're in and all that sort of thing, like where things are, honestly, that move doesn't make tons of sense, because the table that the vase was on when he rescued it is quite small. I'm going to kind of let that go. I don't think there's a person in 10,000 that would notice that and think it's a problem, as long as what you see here is entertaining and carries you through the shot, which is always kind of the most important thing, frankly. So we knew we wanted to have ninja number 2 poke his head in. Okay, so I take a look at ninja number 2, and you come back here. So he grabs the vase. Actually, let me play this in real time. Grabs the vase, and then the camera pans over after a pause, and Ninja 2 pops into the scene. Now, for me, I felt This question mark effect, I'm fine with that. That's sort of an anime convention, and so that's perfectly fine. As is this this expression here, where with the white lines, that I don't consider to be cheeseball, but I do sort of consider his expression, and I don't know, the way I drew him, I'm just not sure that's up to scratch. Okay? So back here, I certainly like that drawing better. What I did was I had him just kind of looking in while the guy is moving from here to here. So the mindset is, first of all, this action is clear. He's grabbing the vase and he's going like this. So I don't want to have two characters on the screen competing for your attention. So it seemed to me that once he settles down here, and by the way, obviously this old art is going to be merged because they don't completely sync up, but that's okay. That's not going to be a hard thing to fix. Okay, so the idea is that we want to give it enough time. I guess what I should say is that when you're creating keyframes, invariably when you begin to build it out and time it, at least for me, and I think this is probably common with animators, is your first instinct is going to be to make everything go by way too fast. And it's really you really have to force yourself to let it breathe. Which the funny thing about it is, when I've directed films, I'm always telling my actors that. Always. I mean, it's like anybody that's been in any of my films, this is what does Dave say all the time? Let it breathe. They'll be doing a performance, and I'm always having to tell them, slow down, give the camera, give the audience a moment to digest what they just saw, and what you're doing. So it doesn't mean you move slowly, but it means that you program holds into your action so that the audience can tell what the heck just happened. Otherwise it blares by and they miss it. Now you can put some of that in by choice, in the sense that it creates something maybe for the audience to discover on the second watching, let's say. But it can't be something that's critical to the story. So getting back to this, just moving from here to here seemed to me to be a good time to let Ninja number 2 poke in. Now the problem you're going to have is, who are you looking at? Okay, so I'm literally puzzling this out in real time, only because my partner really wanted to have Ninja 2 in there, reacting to this situation. I'm not yet convinced it's a good idea, and we may wind up at loggerheads on this particular issue. My sense is that it would be clearer storytelling without him in there. The only thing we really gain, I think, from a continuity standpoint, is that if Ninja number 2 comes into this shot, then we know he did in fact make it through the window. But at the same time, I'm thinking that, of course he made it through the window, And the next shot, which I can't really show right now because I don't have it rendered, but what happens is the camera goes to behind these two guys, and so they both look back, and then the camera pulls out and reveals Akari with the knife stuck in the guy's back. Some of you who have been following me for a while have seen that because it was edited in Sony Vegas. I'm not going to pull it up now, but so I'm at a little bit of a loss. And I think maybe as I'm talking about this, one thing that might be good to do is go ahead and roll the scene once without Ninja number 2 in there and just see how it feels. Get that right, and then bring Ninja 2 into it. Okay, so this is the moment where he realizes there's a knife stuck in his back. I actually thought, geez, maybe we should go to another shot where it's a close-up on his back and you see the knife go like that, maybe with a little sound effect. That's probably not the right sound effect, but something like that. And that's him reacting. Would that be better? I think so. And I'd probably have to draw it in there. It wouldn't take very long, but I think I'd almost have to put it in there to see if that's like the right answer. And I may in fact do that while I'm live streaming. That won't take very long. Okay, so The only thing as I was reviewing this that bugged me a little bit is that right there. I almost feel like we need another in between there, because the motion seems a little abrupt to me. What kind of sort of makes it okay though is that he does pause. There's a pretty good pause. I sense that maybe that pause isn't long enough. You know, yeah, I don't think it's long enough. Once he goes to this, I'm just going to hit all. I'm going to add another. Let's add another 1/2 of 1 second, 12 frames. Okay, so now I'm going to rewind to the beginning just so we can see it flow. See, it's still. You see what I'm saying? It is always this crazy temptation to make things move too quickly. Okay, his eyes go down. So this, from this shot to here, is 3/4 of a second. So I think it should be a full second. So there you go. So this is, I'm showing this because this is kind of, okay, right there, there's a problem. This is kind of part of the rigor of animation, is going in and figuring out the timing. So now my sense is that once he looks down and he's sort of like going to decide what he's going to do, I'm thinking 1 second for that as well. So that would put this, so I'm going to add 12 frames there too. Okay, that pause is, let's see, this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a second as well. That's okay, because the thing is, it's, hey, Oxer, I mean, Aram, God, how can I not remember? It's so embarrassing, man. I'm sorry, dude. Aram, right? Okay, so give me a right or a wrong in the comments section. Oh, funny. Okay, so and the only way you can find out is to just keep playing it over and over. You know, you have to act yourself. I will say this, since I started animating, I have never once either Amar. What did I say? Aram? Yeah, see, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. It's Amar. Okay. Got it. Amar. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to stop being stupid, and I'm going to write it down. Things like this bug me. It's like, you know what? How can you not remember something like that? So, Oxer is Amar. Okay, Amar. Well, I've been calling you Oxer, and I think for a month and a half I called you Oscar, so we'll blame it on dyslexia. Everything I do that's stupid, I blame on dyslexia, and I've never been diagnosed dyslexic, but I'm very, very sure that I'm at least mildly dyslexic. And that seems to be supported by the fact that my daughter is patently dyslexic. She does not know left from right, and she is 27 years old, 26 years, 27 years old, I think. So when she's driving, she has to go like this. Oh yeah, L, the letter L, which obviously from this point of view is, the letter L means left. That's how she knows her left hand. Oh, it's awesome. She's the greatest. All right. Okay, what I was going to say is that if you err on the side of making the timing too broad and it's stretched out too much, that doesn't matter because, yeah, we are, man. We're getting older. You can always cut frames out when you edit. It's, you know, it's easy to remove stuff, so you want to err on the side of making it actually too lazy. But anyway, let's follow this through to the end. And actually my endpoint is in the wrong place now. So if you're not into kind of the minutia of animation, in other words, what I mean is, what I'm doing right now, if you're going to do animation, you always have to do it. This is something you always have to do, but it's not sexy work, you know, like drawing, you know, XYZ character from, you know, whatever Death Note or whatever the anime is you like. It's not sexy, but this is what you have to do. Okay, I could almost see an in-between when he raises up to go ahead and start moving the vase, which would be right here. But I think the timing is actually okay. Okay, yeah, it's not bad. That turn is on 4s. Okay, so now this gets back to the original problem that I was discussing, which is if we go ahead and put ninja number 2 in there, my concern is that he's now competing for attention. So the reality is, are you going to even see him? You got to choose who you're going to look at least in my opinion. Maybe some people are more holistically brained than I am, but I can only do one thing at a time. So for me, I'm either looking at Ninja 1 or Ninja 2. So whatever Ninja 2 does can't be that important, because my assumption is, especially if I light it this way, your attention's probably going to be on the main character, Ninja 1 here. Okay, so he gets a little poke, and within 1/4 of a second, he goes, his eyes kind of go blue, and then he shakes a little bit. Okay, so now the action turns to Ninja 2, where he looks at him, and while Ninja 1 does look back, like, what the heck's going on here, really at this point, Ninja 2 takes the center stage, and he's basically looking at him and going, okay, what are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on? Okay, so now let's look at that whole thing. And my sense is that basically it's okay. It's probably better than what I had before. Yeah, I mean, that when I just watched that, it seems to me that my eye is following Ninja 1 until he freezes, and then my eye jumps over to Ninja 2. So I think that's, yeah, I think that works. And so I want to say that from an animation storytelling standpoint, I think that's generally what you want to do, especially in anime, is you almost want to think about your action very one-dimensionally. You only want one thing going on the screen at a time that's important. You can have a lot of things going on, but you can only have one thing going on that's important. Otherwise, the people will miss it, because you cannot digest multiple important things all at the same time. At least that's kind of my strong opinion, and I think the psychologists would back me up on this one. So, with that, it's going to be pretty easy to, you know, correct the positioning here is kind of brain dead. That's going to be simple. In fact, what I'm probably going to do is, boy, let's see, he lands there. It looks like there's some wackiness going on with the animate tool anyway. You see these keyframes right here. I'm not going to monkey with them at the moment, but this all goes by so fast that, so what I'm saying is there's this little jump here, but you don't really think about it because it all goes by so fast. See? So now what we need to do is marry these two together. Do we want to try to do that with the animate tool? Well, let's see here. If we go down 1 frame, if we're going to use the animate tool, we would just do this. I guess that's about right. Now there's your problem, is you're going to have all this keyframe interpolation going on. So let's see, that goes on for quite some time, and I've got the interpolation set on 2s. I probably should have set it at a really high number so it doesn't do any interpolation, but that's okay. this is effectively just an offset to get the new animation to line up pretty well with the old animation. So I think what I'll do is, since this is interpolating on 2s, maybe I'll go here, put a keyframe. Let's see how that... Okay, now, okay, that added a little jump in his positioning that might actually look cool. You know, let's just take a look at it. Yeah, I didn't even see it. I didn't even see it, so it must have been smooth. Yeah, I actually like it because it's like he jumps a bit when he gets the knife in his back. Let's put the knife in his back. Let's show that in a close-up. I think we should. Right there. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're literally going to just add another cut. I think we should put it actually between these two. So I'm going to go, let's see, it's going to be, how long does that take? 1/1000. Takes about a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say his eyes are going to go like this, and then we're going to go 24 frames. There's 12. There's 24. So now what we're going to do is right here, let's see, we need to let the audience digest the change in attitude there. So let's go here and hit the B key. Okay, do I want to put this? I'm going to go ahead. I'm actually creating more work for myself for no good reason. So why don't we do it this way? Let's go ahead and just take these frames out and add another layer here. I mean, it's not a big deal to add another level. So, okay, so what we want here, and we need to remove Ninja 2 as well. So this is another thing. I've gone back and forth between trying to keep things really concise on a single level as much as possible versus breaking things up into levels. And I have to say that the consensus, all in all, is break things up. It's just a lot easier. So, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say here's a wrap, okay? Because these wraps have been featured pretty prominently throughout this this whole sequence, and because of that, and they also, the wraps are sort of light blue, whereas the ninja costume is black. So that means that this is going to be easy to see. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to change my mind here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, Control C, actually I'm going to Control X, cut that, and I am going to put that here. B, okay, S key, Control V. Okay, and I'm doing that because this is going to remain static. This is always going to be there while everything else happens. So that way, what we can do here is just draw the knife and then animate it with the animate tool, which is dead easy, right? So I'm going to draw the knife fully in frame. I say knife, I mean it's a blade, and it needs to look like the business end of a real blade that's going to maybe give you some hassles. Okay, animate tool, and now it's just a timing problem, right? Position, I'm just going to go, let's see, I think I'm going to go on 4s. Okay, and then I'm going to just duplicate these. Hopefully this will turn out to be a good decision. Okay, now actually I think it is, but we want to end in the out position, not the in position. Now, do we want to add some wrinklies? If we do, why don't we just cheat like the Dickens? I mean, I guess we'll do it here. Okay, this is going to go in. Okay, so this is our hot spot. So let's use markers. Okay, there and there. That's where the blade hits, right? Let's just confirm that I did that consistently. I mean, I cut and pasted the... Yeah, so that, I think this is really going to work. I think this is going to be really the right decision. Okay, so now what I can do is go like this. Okay. And this would be 185. And now we're at 189 again. And we'll do the retreat from the knife on 2s, so it's going to be boom, boom. So actually this one should be, that should be 185. Okay, I think that'll work. Okay, so now what happened here? Oh, I see what happened. Okay, my mistake. What I need to do is hit the S key, select all, Control C, and drawing number 189 needs to also have obviously the ninja's costume in there. Okay, so what did that do for us? Well, it gave us this. That's it. That's it. That tells the story. That's the change I've been looking for in this scene that makes all the difference. I can tell right now that this is going to work great. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning and watch the whole thing. That was absolutely what was needed. Okay, let's go like this. Okay, actually, okay. I think that the new stuff needs to happen after right here. Okay, so that's a little bit of a pain because we've got, let's see, I'm gonna hit the Control key. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you right now. This is the smart way to do this because otherwise you're gonna be really struggling quite a bit with stuff. I'm gonna insert 2 new levels. I'm just gonna do it this way. I'm gonna hit Control now, and this is something Darren T showed me, so shout out to him. Now when I drag this, it should take the, because I hit Control when I selected them, it should take the keyframes with it. Hello? Is it going to take the keyframes with it? It's acting like it wants to. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't seem to want to, but that's... There we go. Okay, yeah, I copied them over, so okay, that's fine. Okay, so now what I want to do is, this is a little confusing. We want to go up to here, so we're going to take this and move it down. Take this, move it down, and these 2 keyframes, since they were copied, can be deleted. Now we want to take this. Oops, sorry, my bad. I wonder if I just hit Control when I grab a sequence like this. Nope, I don't think that's going to work. No, it doesn't work. Okay, so now what I want to do is go like this, hit Control, sorry, drag with the Control key held down so that it takes the keyframes with it. And then, okay. I have to keep, it's making me do it over and over, which is kind of a bummer, but. Hello? Drag, you silly thing. Okay, so it appears to me that the Control key should not be held during the actual drag. Is that correct? It won't go. Okay, so that's okay. I'm going to go Control X. And this is why it sucks, because that just made everything ripple down, which is exactly what I didn't want to have. But that's okay. It's all one sequence, so that's not that big of a deal. I can just grab it and pop it up. Okay, so now that should be... Okay, so now let's get rid of this. This is really tedious to watch, so if people that are watching just like check out, like there were 3 a minute ago and now there's 2, I don't blame you. This is really tedious. But, you know, to which I can only say, welcome to the real world of animation, because it's kind of tedious sometimes. Okay, Now I need to take this whole sequence, drag it down. So the whole control drag thing seems to be pretty cool and easy and workable with within a level, but becomes problematic if you're trying to drag between levels. It gets a little clunky. Okay. Can we just drag these guys up like so? I think so. It took the keyframes with it, which is great. Okay, I think that did what I was after. Not quite. Not quite. Okay, I see what the problem is. And unfortunately, again, I have to select it all. Control key. I think we want to be here. I should have put some sort of... Golly, I really shot myself in the foot here. This is my spot. Okay, so I'm going to stop, and post a marker here, because I need a marker so I can remember where the heck I'm supposed to drag this to. Okay, this should then come down to here. Okay, I think we're good, folks. Alright, let's give it a try. Back to the top. Huh. The only thing I don't know about is Ninja 2. Okay, I'm going to stop and see what the comments are here. Should be able to select frames and move them without control. Well, you can move the frames without the control click, but the keyframes will not go with it. If I just drag these frames, as you will see right here, if I drag these frames, well, okay, I'll drag these frames. Okay, you see, the keys get left behind. You have to do control if you want the keys to drag with the cells. That's the difference, and it's a pretty significant difference. Darren T mentioned he's suggested to the developers that the keys traveling with the cells should be the default, and I have to say I completely agree with him. I don't know if there's ever been a single situation where I've had keyframes on top of cells where I wanted to move the cells around but didn't want the keyframes to go with it. I could imagine there'd be a scenario like that, but at this point I can't think what it would be. I mean, normally the keyframes are, you know, endemic to what the animation looks like, and so everything falls apart if they get left behind, you know. So okay, so he's coming in here. He's just looking. He has his reaction. We see the blade. And so what remains a little problematic is this. I think... gosh. Ninja 2. What's thrown me is Ninja 1's eye. The problem is we have two things going on at the same time, and whenever that happens, you're gonna miss something. And so, do I want to? You know, I like Ninja 2's response. I like the way he looks down and he's like, okay, what are you gonna do? And his eyes then dart. I like that. And the problem is, if I give that my attention, I completely miss the moment when this guy looked back. So the question really becomes, well, wait, why does he need to look back anyway? I don't think he does until after Ninja 2's done doing what he's doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this down to, let's say, here. And nope, I'm actually going to drag it even further. And then I'm going to let Ninja 2's expression be static up to that point. I mean, this is getting pretty long, but let's see. Poke, poke. You see, that works. That works. In other words, it's even if there's two characters acting, it is a sequence. They have to take turns. That works. I think we're there. Okay, so we're gonna have to do this guy's ponytail, and then ink it and commit to it. But I think I've done it, and so this is a 340 frame sequence, which is, what is that? 10. It's around 15 seconds. It's around 15 seconds. It's not exactly 15 seconds, but it's close. What was the old shot? Did I close Blender? I think I closed Blender. Silly me. I must have been having too much fun and forgot what I was doing. Let's open up Blender. This shot. Yeah, it was about a 10-second clip. So yeah, we're making a little bit of a gamble going longer with it, but I think it'll be okay. We're gonna have to bring the CGI vase into the shot as well, which is definitely a pain in the rumperilius. But I think all in all, not too shabby. Okay, maybe a slight pause here. Okay, so there's that shot. So actually it would be something like that. I just want to digest what he... Wait a minute. Okay, what the heck just happened? That was right. Except, okay, again, what is that? Why is it? Is this key? So I kind of made the mistake of doing part of it with the keyframes and part of it with the drawings. Yeah, that looks completely stupid. So I guess that probably needs to be there. And yeah, that was the one we did early where he jumped. Okay, so L. I better rewind. Yeah, and then it goes to the shot where they both look back and see Akari with the knife stuck in his back. So I think that's good. All right. Okay, so if that's where we're at, then the question becomes, what's next? Well, should I go ahead and ink this sucker? The basic challenge here is that I didn't redo these frames. Since I didn't redo them, I have to I can't leverage look, if you're cutting to a new bit of animation, it's always better to do an edit on motion. That's a filmmaking principle I learned a long time ago, is you don't want to cut after everybody stopped moving. You want to cut while they're in motion. That's how editing works. So here the problem we have is that he has essentially stopped moving. The edit point really should have been right here. And I don't really want to redo all these drawings right now. Not that I won't, because the truth is I probably will. But at the moment, After working all this other stuff out, I'm not really in the mood to draw even more keyframes. So, call me a baby. I'm going to hit the A key, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep... I'm going to actually use these markers here. There's the side of his head, and there's the top of his head. So now we go here, and you can see that's actually where it should be positioned. And you know what? I think that's gonna sell. Cool. That was easy. Those markers do come in handy, I must say. I don't use them a ton, but when you need them, nothing else works as well. Okay, so that means inky inky time. Let's be inky inky, not stinky stinky. Okay, so are we gonna put this on a whole nother... Gosh, do I want to put this on a whole nother level? I'm gonna have to. And the reason I'm gonna have to is we kind of covered this about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. For a while there, I was kind of enamored of the idea of keeping everything on the same level, and therefore I would do drawing on a palette. I would do drawing with the... I would do my pencil test with a palette entry other than number 1, because number 1 can't be deleted. And the idea is to do your inking over top of it and then delete the pencil test. Because if you don't, then all these pencil lines are going to interfere with the flood fill operations. Okay, look, forget it. It's not worth the hassle, I have learned. So that means we're going to go boop for the B key, and we're going to use the same brush, but we're just going to really tighten it up. So that means this level, we're going to go into the color, and I'm going to make it red, which is what I usually do for pencil tests, and quite a bit lighter by just cranking up the alpha. And now it's inky inky time, even though I'm using a brush that's essentially like a pencil, not a ink line. Those who've been following for a while know that I'm made it my aim to have the ink lines on this show look kind of like scanned pencil art. That is my goal. That's how I'm doing it, and I'm sticking to it. So, inky inky time. Inky inky time, baby. So now I'm gonna have to take... I should say this actually. You know what? This is gonna be wrong. So here's something that if you... Okay, this is a gotcha that you're gonna run into. So I'm gonna show you what the problem is. The problem is that there's keyframe animation on this drawing, but there isn't on this drawing. So that means that this drawing is actually in the wrong position, because when I map these animation keys into these ink lines, it's all gonna move. It's all gonna be in the wrong place. So what you need to do, and I'm gonna actually pull it up here, and I'll do a little transition so you can see it. What you want to do is go into the stage schematic, and I'm taking level column 9 and column 10. So I'm going to take column 10, which is the one I'm working on right now. Column 9 is the one that's got the animation. That's the pencil test. So I'm just going to connect it like that. Now watch what happened. Okay, see the pencil. It's not much in this case because frankly the animation keys weren't. I didn't have to move it much, but you can see that this drawing is out of line now. Okay, so fortunately I didn't go very far, and it's easy to fix. All I got to do is grab this and just drag it over like that, and we're back in business. Okay. Okay, so one thing I probably should do here is just try to really match Yeah, let me kill this first line. I'll just redo it. I really want to match the lines on the wraps, just because it's kind of a continuity thing. So hey baby, you want some company? Huh? Okay, I have a solution that I think is really good. Sorry guys. I'm actually cutting off for tonight. So sorry about just jumping out and not giving anybody any warning. Where the heck is my mouse?